Angels are not what you think they are. Take a moment and picture an angel. What do you see? A gentle figure in white robes with soft, feathery wings? A guardian, a messenger of peace? Now discard that image. Erase it completely. What if the truth is infinitely more terrifying? What if, instead of being our protectors, angels are actually the ones manipulating our faith for their own sinister purpose? Picture a reality where the divine isn't a guardian but a predator, lurking in the shadows of our devotion and feeding on the very belief we hold so dear. This isn't just a thought experiment. This is the secret war being fought in the hidden corridors of the Vatican, where a clandestine military unit known as the Sanguine Archons battles a force of hyperdimensional parasites that have, for millennia, disguised themselves as angels. What if the Vatican, an institution of peace, commands one of the most effective and secretive military units on the planet? They are called the Sanguine Archons, a name that never appears in any official record. Funded through the labyrinthine and often shadowy channels of the Vatican Bank, this elite group operates entirely in the dark. Their mission has nothing to do with global politics or earthly conflicts. They are the guardians of a metaphysical barrier they call the firmament, a concept as old as Ezekiel's visions, which separates our reality from incursions by a terrifying force known only as the radiance. The idea of the Vatican running covert operations isn't new. During World War II, it was an open secret that the Holy See was a hotbed of espionage. The OSS, the precursor to the CIA, had agents and informants within its walls, and millions of dollars were funneled through priests to Switzerland and other neutral territories. But the Archons predate all of that. Their origins are rumored to trace back to the Knights Templar, a military order that grew immensely powerful before being accused of heresy and brutally suppressed. The official story is that they were disbanded, but Archon legend claims a remnant survived, going deep underground to continue a far more ancient and important battle. Unlike the public priesthood, the Archons are not shepherds, they are hunters. Their training is a brutal fusion of spiritual discipline and tactical warfare. Recruits are selected from the forgotten fringes of society. Orphans, disgraced soldiers, and excommunicated clergy who have witnessed too much. They are taught to sever their own faith, to see it not as a virtue, but as a vulnerability, a scent that attracts their prey. Their arsenal is unlike any other on Earth, comprised of non-lethal weapons designed for a war no one can ever know is being fought. Sonic disruptors emit frequencies that destabilize the geometric patterns of their enemy. Faith-nullifying aerosols create dead zones where belief, and thus the entity's power, cannot manifest. Their goal is to neutralize these angelic incursions without a single shot fired, without leaving a trace, and without causing the mass panic that would surely follow if the truth got out. The enemy is the radiance. Forget every Renaissance painting you've ever seen. These are not benevolent beings of light. The closest description comes from the unnerving visions of the prophet Ezekiel, who described angels not as humanoids, but as terrifying divine machinery. Beings with multiple faces, bodies covered in eyes, and wheels that moved like lightning. The radiants are something like that, but twisted and malevolent. They are non-corporeal swarms of shifting fractal geometries, symphonies of light and sound that are beautiful one moment and maddeningly incomprehensible the next. They don't have bodies, they have manifestations. And they aren't here to guide us, they're here to harvest us. Their very essence is parasitic. They feed on faith, drawing sustenance from the raw, emotional energy of human belief. A prayer isn't a message to God, it's a beacon, a revival, a pilgrimage, a moment of collective worship. These events create massive outpourings of energy that the radiance can use to tear open interdimensional bridges, allowing their legions to pour into our world. Exposure to a pure manifestation of the radiance is catastrophic. It can overload human biology, causing a person to literally explode from cellular oversaturation. In other cases, victims are petrified into screaming pillars of salt or glass, conscious and immortal but trapped in eternal agony. But the most insidious danger is psychological. To even glimpse their true form is to risk cognitive death. Your mind, unable to process the impossible geometry, rewrites itself. Your identity dissolves, replaced by a singular, overwhelming drive. To worship, to believe, and to bring others into the fold, turning you into a living antenna for the invasion. This is why the Vatican is so notoriously skilled at damage control and suppressing scandals. The same mechanisms used to cover up financial misdeeds or internal corruption are employed to contain and explain away the miracles performed by the radiance before they can consume entire communities. This is my world. I'm Silas Vane, a former soldier who served with distinction until an IED in Afghanistan took my sight. Adrift in darkness, I found my purpose with the sanguine archons. Without eyes, I cannot be deceived by the radiance's false light. I cannot suffer the cognitive death that comes from seeing their true form. For the archons, I am the perfect recruit. I don't see angels, I feel them. I navigate the world through a piece of forbidden technology, a tactile headset that fuses Vatican neural implants with relic-forged batteries, power sources supposedly crafted from the bone fragments of martyred saints. This device translates the complex electromagnetic and psychic signatures of the radiance into a constant flow of information I feel as braille patterns across my skin. I can feel the dissonant hum of a minor incursion, the sharp sting of a localized miracle, and the crawling, ravenous hunger of a major manifestation. It's an intimate, terrifying connection to the enemy, a constant reminder of the horrors that move, unseen, through our world. The journey begins as all Archon missions do, with a whisper. Reports of a miraculous event in a forgotten Dust Bowl town have reached the Vatican. A child who can heal the sick. The faithful are flocking there, their hope and belief creating a dangerous concentration of energy. I am dispatched alone, an anonymous traveler sent to determine if this is a genuine act of God, or something much, much worse. As I step off the bus and into the town, the patterns on my skin begin to thrum with a familiar predatory rhythm. The town is in the grip of a euphoric revival. The streets, once quiet and desperate, are now filled with pilgrims. They speak in hushed, reverent tones about the miracle child, a young boy who can lay his hands on the sick and make them whole. I walk through the crowds, an unseen observer, my senses telling me a different story. The air is thick with a cloying, sweet energy that makes the hairs on my arms stand up. My headset isn't just thrumming, it's vibrating violently, sending waves of painful, chaotic patterns across my skin. It's the signature of a massive feeding event. I find a spot near the back of a gathering in the town square. From the stage, I hear the child's voice, innocent and pure. I listen to the testimonials. A farmer whose withered arm is now strong, an old woman who can see for the first time in years. The crowd weeps with joy. But I focus on the people themselves. I can hear the slight, almost imperceptible hollowness in their voices. I can smell the ozone-like scent of dimensional friction in the air. Their eyes, as described to me by a discreet audio prompter, are glazed over, not with peace, but with a vacant, ecstatic trance. This isn't divine intervention. It's a carefully constructed illusion. The radiance has found a perfect conduit, an innocent child, and is using him as a lens to focus the town's collective faith. This isn't a healing, it's a harvest. The energy of their belief is being siphoned away, strengthening the entity, widening the bridge. I have to expose the truth, and I have to do it fast, before the entire town is drained dry and becomes a permanent gateway for the horrors on the other side. I begin my investigation in the shadows, speaking to the few locals who remain skeptical, the ones whose faith hasn't yet been consumed. I learn that the miracles have a cost. The healed are euphoric, yes, but they are also suggestible, compliant, their personalities slowly eroding. I try to warn the town's mayor and sheriff, but they see me as a threat to the newfound hope and prosperity the miracle has brought. They dismiss me as a cynical outsider, a madman. The confrontation comes during the largest revival yet, held in the town's packed high school football stadium under the stars. The miracle child is on a platform in the center of the field, bathed in floodlights. As the child reaches out to perform another healing, I make my move. Bypassing the ushers who try to stop me, I stride toward the stage. The crowd jeers, but I ignore them. I pull a device from my coat, a sonic resonator tuned to the specific frequency of my headset. I activate it. Instead of a sound, the device emits a targeted wave of disruptive energy that shatters the radiance's hold on the child. For a horrifying moment, the illusion flickers. The crowd gasps. The beatific glow around the boy warps, twisting into something angular and alien. The child's face contorts, not in malice, but in confusion and pain as the entity using him is revealed. A second pulse from my device, and the facade shatters completely. The healer, the beloved miracle child, transforms. Its body elongates, limbs cracking and reforming into impossible shapes. Its face splits open to reveal a fractal of blinding, searing light, a gaping maw of pure geometry. The air fills with the shriek of 1,000 rushing waters, just as the old prophecies described. Chaos erupts. The beautiful miracle has become a grotesque nightmare, and the townspeople finally see they haven't been praying to an angel but feeding a monster. But the battle is far from over. As the crowd panics, I draw my blessed bone axe, a relic forged from the remains of a saint, and my old pistol loaded with blessed silver rounds. The radiance, now fully revealed, lashes out with tendrils of light, seeking to ensnare me in its grasp. I swing the axe, feeling the holy energy coursing through it, and sever one of the tendrils. It recoils, shrieking in a cacophony of sound that rattles the very air around us. I fire my pistol, the blessed silver rounds striking true, exploding against the entity's form. Each shot sends ripples through its structure, causing it to flicker and distort. The townspeople, still in shock, begin to awaken from their trance, their eyes widening in horror as they witness the true nature of the being they had worshipped. I press forward, determined to end this nightmare. With each swing of my axe and each shot from my pistol, I carve a path through the chaos, pushing back against the malevolent force that seeks to consume us all. As terror and panic consume the stadium, the sanguine archons descend. Black-clad teams move with chilling efficiency, deploying aerosols that fog the air and dampen both the psychic energy and the memories of the hysterical crowds. They secure the child, now catatonic, and neutralize the weakened radiance manifestation. Official cover stories are already being seeded. A gas leak, a case of mass hallucination. By morning, the town will be left with a fractured, unbelievable memory and a deep, gnawing sense of loss. With the truth exposed and then violently suppressed, I am left to grapple with the fallout. The Archons have contained the physical threat, but the spiritual damage is absolute. An entire community's faith has been weaponized and then shattered. What happens to people when the very foundation of their hope turns out to be a predatory lie? This single event carries horrifying implications for all of humanity. I stand alone as the cleanup crew finishes its work, reflecting on the chilling question that drives the Archon's eternal war. How many other miracles, big and small, throughout all of history, were not gifts from God? How many were just traps? How many cherished beliefs and sacred events were nothing more than feeding grounds for the radiance? The line between faith and manipulation, between the divine and the parasitic, has blurred into non-existence, leaving only a haunting, unanswerable question about the true nature of our protectors.